Everybody, we're at Sussex. Hello everybody. So after my van got broken into, I got loads of comments, everybody saying the same thing. Head down to Sussex Installations and they'll sort your vans out security wise, which is what we did. I'm trying to keep out their way a little bit because they've got quite a lot of work to do. So on the front of the van here, we ended up fitting these deadlocks, similar to the ones I've got down here, just these hook style locks. It's very neat the way they do it. I suppose when you do it every single day, you don't really think about it. It's the same as doing a fuse board change. You don't really think about it. It's just one of those things you do and it just gets done and you don't think anything of it. But I know for a fact I couldn't do this. So you can see the profile there. That's how they do it. They just put masking tape on it, figure out where the lock's got to go, nibble their way through there. 2 pilot holes at the top, 2 at the bottom, and they've just got this little nibbling machine and then nibble it out like that. And anyway, on the sides here, on the side loading doors here, I think can I shut this one? I think so. So what we ended up having in the end, this was the original one that I had. So they're putting another one further down here. So we've got one down here, and then this one up here. And they put in, where is it? In fact, I might even be able to show you actually. Actually, I think I can. They put a plate just in behind here. That's it. So this lock here, just in behind here, there's it's like a large steel plate. I think I've still got one on, I've got a spare one on the van, I'll show you, but they put that on the inside of this door, and then there's this low down lock down here. Now you actually can't quite see it, but it's that plate just there, and they bolt that on the inside of the door. The back of my van, it was a little more complex, because do you remember I had that Malenko? In fact, I've got it here. That piece of fucking garbage. I had that, and that was mounted somewhere there, if you remember. But of course, when you removed it, it left the original holes there. So what they've had to do is they've had to fit one of these stainless steel plates, because I had 4 holes here as well. Very neatly done. I'll show you how they do it on the other side. Cut the holes through, just put these little blanking grommets in afterwards, and that's the end result. And then the one on this side here will have, eventually when they get around to doing it, it will have this plate here. So that deadbolt, same as this one here, will end up just going something like that, and it'll just sit straight in the middle. It's a neat way, even if you've had, even if you had a lock or something and you've got to get it changed or something, they have got ways of, neat little ways of coming up with dealing with stuff like this. I fitted this external plate, but what they've also done, in fact, you can just see the edge of it there. So they ended up fitting an internal plate as well. Same as the ones on the side door. In fact, yeah, you can see it. You can just see it up there. And I think the idea of it is that if the external plate does end up being wrenched off, because you can see the bolts for it here. So if they wrench that off, even then you've still got to you've got to try and push your way through that internal plate as well. And I'm going to get out. I think they want to get in. Leave them to it. There's a little part of me which, when this happened, I was considering. I was like, maybe I could just do this myself. It's only deadlocks, how hard can it be? As it transpires, there's a real art to doing this. So I'm quite glad I didn't take this on, because I'd have fucked it right up. But it is interesting watching how they do it, because you just see all the little tricks and the way that they line all the locks up and stuff. It's interesting stuff. Sort of stuff you don't get to see every day. All right, so we're pretty much at the end of the day, and they've literally just finished. They've just swept up here and everything. So I'll take you quickly around what they've done, because it was quite intensive what they had to. Surprised actually, to be fair, I'm surprised they got both done in the time they had. We had the locks on the cab doors. The only reason we fitted those was I just figured that it was more just for theft of the van more than anything, because if that's locked and the van's dead bolted, the only way you're going to get in there is by smashing that window, and you're not really going to want to smash that window and then climb through the broken glass to then get into the vehicle. So then it just doesn't make sense. So that was the only reason. It wasn't so much to stop people from stealing anything inside. It was just more for them actually stop and steal the van. So that was the reason we had those fitted. But that's the end result. It's a beautifully neat finish. And the sliding door, same again, they finished it now. One which was up here, and then same again, another one just down there. And they've ended up putting this steel, there's like a steel protection plate which goes somewhere here. Because apparently they're starting to do the same thing with these now, but on the side doors where they drill a hole on the side of the van. So there's now a steel plate somewhere just behind there, deliberately to try and just stop that risk. And that was the end result at the back of this van. This is what they ended up having to do, because I had that horrible Malenko lock here. We ended up putting these steel plates on, and it came out quite nice actually. I think it looks quite beefy actually, it's not bad at all. And then same thing again here, as I said, we've got the outer plate, and then there's there's an inner steel plate here as well. Because that was another thing in the comments that was coming up. If you turn around and slate a product and say, I don't like that, that's garbage, no one complains about that, that's perfectly acceptable. But if you turn around and say, I quite like that product, suddenly you're being sponsored by them and it's a complete sham. Why? If you like something, tell the world. Do you know the difficulty I had, honest to God, after these vans got broken into and I had to go and find a locksmith to come and fit all of this shit? Do you know how hard that was? I must have rung, honestly, 8 locksmiths. You think any of them gave a fuck? No one cared. Absolutely no one gave a shit. These people were the only ones who actually went through over the phone, you know, all the options you had, and not just the options, but what the good and bad were of those options. They're the only ones that did it. Nobody else did. So, you know, if you do come across somebody who's half tidy, let the world know about it, you know? You don't have to be being, you know, paid or being sponsored. It's just promoting a good solid company. That's all it is, you know? People just seem to assume that if you say something's good, automatically you're being sponsored and it's a complete load of bollocks. No, it's not. It's just you're promoting a good service that's out there. That's all. Right, our tools are more or less packed up now. So we're going to hit the road. We will, give us 5 minutes, we'll get out of here and we'll see you in a bit. I'm trying to work out whether a fight's about to break out or whether it's just...
I know one of the guy there, he's not him, the other one, he's always drunk.
Ah, I've bumped into him before, yeah.
Big guy.
That's the amazing thing about London, you're never sure. There could just be some random fight breaking out, you're never actually sure. You just kind of let them get on with it. Okay, now fast forward a few weeks. We've had these locks fitted for a couple of weeks now. And they are going all right. The only thing I have noticed is it's a bit of a procedure when it comes to locking and unlocking the van at night and in the morning and stuff. That's a bit of a faff, I'll be honest, because you've got to go through all of those one by one every time you want to get in and out of it, which is, it's a little bit of a pain, but it's, you know, for the security it gives you, I guess, it, you know, it is worth it, but it's just a faff, you know. I've got a feeling this guy that's shouting in the street isn't actually angry. I think he's just drunk. Actually, I remember the night that break-in happened. I think it was like 11 o'clock at night, and I'd just come home because I'd been working late that night, and it was like 10 o'clock about 9:30 when I got back, and I basically just had a shower and I got straight into bed. And I think me and Tom are on that particular day, I don't think we were really talking to each other already. I think we'd already had a bit of an argument with each other, and I put my phone on silent and I put it by the side of my bed, which is what I always do. And the phone rang, and I was like, I could hear it. I couldn't hear it ringing, but you could hear it vibrating by the side of the bed. And I was like, I'm not answering it. I don't care who that is. You're gonna have to wait till morning. And I left it, and it rang back about 2 or 3 minutes later. And I was like, okay, this is obviously something serious. Someone's double rung. And I answered it, and it was a number I didn't recognise. And they're like, so I've just seen your van get broken into. And I was like, shit, okay. And I thought it was my one. And he said, it's over in Islington. And I was like, it's Tom's one. Okay, so I rung Tom and I just told him, go out and have a look. The van's been broken into. And yeah, those are the pictures those are the pictures on the screen now of what happened. So yeah, annoying. It is annoying because you work hard and you work hard to earn money, and you work hard to stock your van with all this stuff to try to earn more money. And it does dishearten you a bit when that sort of stuff happens. But it's not just my van. This is ruthless. I mean, Tom sent me a picture yesterday of a van that got broken into. I mean, they are ruthless. They just don't care about who they break into, you know. You try so fucking hard, and then all it takes is just one person to ruin it. You know, that's all it takes. It doesn't take much. But you, at the same time, you can't think like that, because otherwise you'd never get anywhere. You know, so you just have to sort of keep trundling on. There's nothing you can do. You just keep pressing forwards and hope for the best. You know. Okay, everybody, very quickly before I go. A lot of you are asking about Laura. You want to see her in more of the content and stuff. I'm going to leave a link here for my Instagram account. Follow me on that, because this weekend we're going to be doing sort of a Q&A and some bits and pieces with Laura, and then she's going to be in the video on Monday, I believe, if I get the recording done fast enough. She should be in Monday's video. So follow me on Instagram, and you can watch it over the weekend there as it happens. See you all later. Take care.